Okay, I have a goal for this essay correction, which is to keep it under 10 minutes, because I can't be doing these 20-minute um, uh, feedbacks. Looking at this essay, I think I need 3 minutes for each of the three big paragraphs, and then 1 minute of overall commentary, and then, of course, this preamble here. Let me get my stopwatch out. Okay, okay, I should have done this already. Okay, and stopwatch begins. Meow, meow, meow. Now. Okay, we have a to what extent question with a very basic sentence. Advertising that targets children should be banned from our televisions. Okay, that's all it says. If I'm brainwashing, if I'm brainstorming, I'm thinking about, okay, why would someone think this is true? Why would someone think this is harsh? Because I have no opinion myself, and most of you will not have an opinion on most of the IELTS questions when you go into the test. It's not like we think about these things very much. So, um, all right, so let's get started on the introduction. Okay, Advent goes with television, but you can't advent an era. So it's either since the advent of the television or since the beginning of the television era. Advertisers have become smarter. Ooh, I like that. That's good. And more often than not are targeted children. Wrong. There's nothing in the question that says that. More often than not means most advertisements are targeted at children. Most of them. Do you see that in the question? It's not there. This is a reoccurring problem with which and several other relative pronouns. They call it a pronoun because it takes the place of a noun. Okay, so I have to ask myself, what has led to the possibility of banning them? Well, is them and which the same thing? Okay, it must be advertisements. But it's so far away from advertisements. At first glance, you might say, more often than not, are targeted at children. Which? Children. Children have led to the possibility of banning children. I'm all for banning children. Okay. Hence begins a sentence. Protect the innocence of a child, just one, and naturally innate free will. That's poor collocation. Naturally and innate are pretty much the same thing. You're born with it. Okay, and protect the innocence of a child. How about should be banned to protect children's, apostrophe, innocence and free will as they grow older. Okay, well, I did that in 2 minutes. Moving on. There's no link here. There's no cohesion between the two paragraphs. It just, boom, into the new thought. You have to connect paragraphs. And a good way to do that is to begin the sentence with the same ideas, the same subjects as the last sentence of the previous paragraph. So here we talked about protecting of the innocence. Put protecting the innocence first, and that will create a natural bridge between the two paragraphs. So, the innocence of children is threatened by the power that advertisements have to alter their thinking. Now that's cohesion. It's hard to see. I mean, you might not. If I wrote it down, you'd see it. Okay, now the next three sentences have a lot of claims with very broad terms. Imagine you were a reporter for a newspaper and someone came in and said, explicit content is being masked in flashy cartoon type advertisements. You would raise your hand and say what? You would say, well, what is the explicit content? Explicit is illegal, as far as I know, right? Explicit. Against societal norms. And By this information. It's stored in a child's brain. And then prolonged exposure, how much? Then children will start to act on that information. Well, what's the information? Advertisements are designed to do one thing, and that is to get children to ask their parents to buy things for them. I want Pokemon. I want My Little Pony. What information are you talking about? Okay, so what happens after watching advertisements? They develop rebellious attitudes, create unhealthy relationships with their parents. Well, these two things, rebellious attitudes and unhealthy relationship with parents, are a natural reaction to a prolonged exposure to being a teenager. Teenagers do these things. Nothing to do with television commercials. A recent study, oh wait, here's the best one. And they may even justify evil doings as societal norms. Oh, evil doings. Are you saying that commercials will lead to rape and murder? Oh my. Oh, but wait a minute. No. This study finds that commercials will lead to smoking and drinking. Oh my God. All right. Now, once again, no connection between the paragraphs. Billboards, not part of what we're talking about. It's TV advertisements only. Flashy images, such as an appeal to children to convey messages. Okay, so it sounds like, the way it's worded, that the advertisements appeal to children. Appeal means ask as well as be liked by. So let's ask the children to convey messages. Immense effects on their children's critical thinking. Once again, I have to ask, what are the effects? They're immense. Saying they're huge, saying that they're up here explicit, evil doing, does not support your idea. It just makes it more unbelievable. Government officials, I think you meant politicians, have invested handsomely in everything. Young kids, attract young kids towards their political agenda. Okay. Because the vote of the children is so important in elections. Sarcasm. Okay. This concept is very well backed by psychologists who are of the opinion. Psychologists shouldn't have opinions. That's for like your uncle. It's my opinion that. No, psychologists they know things. They know such tactics. Children, especially, once again, our relative pronoun. It's lost. Who are we talking about? Are we talking about the psychologists who are unsupervised? Oh no, it's the children. Consequently, in the long run, almost have the same meaning. Children will have grown brainwashed. Oh my, brainwashed. That's a very powerful word you're using to describe advertisements that are aimed to get kids to buy a certain kind of milk with little to no free will. To sum up, it is crucial to ban adverts that are targeted towards. Why just targeted towards children? If these things are so horrible, they should be banned for everybody. To ensure they become productive members of the society. Wait a minute, you never said anything about becoming a productive member of society. In fact, if you think about it, if advertisements, I'm not saying that you believe what you're writing. I hope you don't believe what you're writing. You're just writing an essay, right? But it's just kind of funny that to be a productive member of society, you need to go out and buy things. You need to make money and buy things and buy more things so that the companies will make profits. And so the advertisements are what make you a productive member of the society. If you go off and you join an ashram and you reject everything, you're not listening to the advertisements, but you're not part of society anymore. So my last advice is, I've seen this before with other candidates, your ideas do not become more well supported, do not become better and more developed by making them more severe, okay? By making them into bigger things than what they are and supporting it with just things like information and images and, they have effects. You don't win by making the direst threats. We could use you, though, on the global warming, climate change team. We need to get you writing for them because that's something that I do think is so powerful that it would require an essay like this. Okay, it's written well. You just have the wrong aim. Let's put it that way. You're not addressing the question or you are, but your support for it is, what's the word? It's hyperbole. Hyperbole. Goodbye. 12 minutes. It's not 20 at least.